We need to set all the motors in the laptop with IP addresses. You use the touch panel on the motor unit to set its IP address. The default setting of UASA motor units is typically 192.168.0.1. The subnet mask is 255.255.255.0. I normally run from LAN, so I need to change the motor unit IP address to match my LAN. The connection to all the UASA motor units is with an Ethernet cable. They do not have Wi-Fi. I normally run my LAN as 192.168.2.1 for the router. I reset the motor unit IP address to be something like 192.168.2.151. I usually have more than one motor unit connected to the LAN, so I number them sequentially above 151. I normally use DHCP for my laptop, so I do not have to change the laptop IP address to run Flexdata. If you run from a wired LAN, you will be able to put all your motors on the LAN except for the DR. You can run Flexdata by connecting an Ethernet cable directly between your computer and the UASA motor. If you wish to use the single Ethernet cable, and you use the default motor unit IP address, you will need to set your computer to an IP address of 192.168.0.xxx. I normally select 10 for XXX. You cannot use DHCP in this case. You must set your computer to a fixed IP address. The UASA DR11MR motor unit IP address setup is different from other UASA motor units. The IP address is fixed at 192.168.10.1 and you cannot change it. You cannot run it from a LAN. You must set your computer to 192.168.10.xxx. Again, I normally use 10 for XXX. And you must connect the Ethernet cable directly between the computer and the DR motor unit. Because Flexdata runs with cloud storage, you must have an internet connection on your computer. When you use the single Ethernet cable connection, you must have Wi-Fi to get the internet and cloud connection. To change the motor unit IP address, touch the Settings button on the bottom right corner until the current IP address appears. You might need to step through a few pages. To change the IP address or subnet mask, touch the numbers you want to change. Touch the 0 and enter 2 and touch enter. Touch the 1 and enter 151 and touch enter. This is my normal 192.168.2.151. The subnet mask is correct. Touch and hold the Renew button to lock in these values. The touch panel will reboot. Let's check to see if the IP address and subnet mask are what we want. Yes, they are. Touch the Home button on the bottom left corner of the touch panel to return to the main screen. The procedure to set the laptop IP address and subnet mask can be different depending on your computer and operating system. I will go through the steps on my laptop. My operating system is Windows 10 Pro. Your steps will be similar but not necessarily identical to what I am showing you here. Right-click on the Windows button on the bottom left corner of the screen, then left-click on Settings. This opens the Settings window. Click on Network and Internet to open the Network Status window. Under Change Your Network Settings, click on Change Adapter Options. This window shows the various network connections, which in my case are Bluetooth and network cable and Wi-Fi. Right-click on Network Cable, then click on Properties. Then click on Internet Protocol version 4. Then click on the Properties button. Before you change your IP address, you might want to make a note of the current IP address because you might want to go back to that setting when you are finished with the endurance testing machine. Often the setting is obtain an IP address automatically, which is my case. This is called DHCP, where the network server assigns IP addresses to computers on the network. Most laptops will be set up this way so they can lock onto new networks as they are moved about. If you need to change the IP address to operate the motor unit with a single Ethernet cable, in the upper half of the new window, click on Use the following IP address, and then enter, in the case of the DR motor unit, 192 and 168 and 10 and 10 into the IP address window. Then enter 255 and 255 and 255 and 0 in the subnet mask window if they are not already there. Then click on OK. Then you can close all the windows you opened to set the IP address. If you have a different version of Windows, your first step to change the IP address might be to open the Control Panel and Network and Sharing Center and change adapter settings. Then right-click on Network Cable as before, and Properties, and then IP4. Then you can change the IP address. Then close the windows.